श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत पावन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौरीश्वर बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जाय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति बलवत तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। स्वापार्षद श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु सायाम श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा धाम की जाय। सर्व अविष्ट विदत गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय। श्री मुनि देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी विद्या देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। Oh, Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Today we'll be reading about Advaita Ācārya ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams, Nari Hari Prabhu. Bhavatarani Mataji whenever she's back upstairs. Kishore Krishna Prabhu. And Rup Manjari Didi, and Nitai, and Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Vidyalalasa Didi, and Hari Priya Didi. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. All right, so we'll do the Mangala Charan and begin our reading. Oh, and Hari Priya Didi, sorry, I keep on forgetting to respond to you. I don't use Messenger very much, so the best way to get to me is through WhatsApp. I'm not sure if it's already too late, but anyways, I will. God, I need to write it down. All right, Haribo, let's begin. Oops, I'm sharing the wrong screen. 1 second. The glory, no. Mangala Charan. Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujao kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha Jai 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 Vishwambara Dvijaraj Jai Vishwambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaura Chandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jai Sankirtana Moy Sundara Sharir Jai Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jai Gadadhar Advaitera Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagadananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarir Hriday Jai Jai Shivasadi Priya Varganath Jiva Prati Koro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jeno amriter khanda je katha shunile ghuche antar pashanda. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno ek chitte sankirtana arambha hoilo jeno mate. Oh, dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. Tavaivasmi, tavaivasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vigyaya devi tvam, nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay, kshiptastakama ditaranga madhye, kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna, Vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh, and Hari Bol, Manjari Didi, and Nitai. Yeah, I think it's just your phone. I wonder what the problem is. That's so strange. It was saying waiting the whole time for her. Oh, and oh, Hare Krishna Anuradha Didi. Hari Bol. Oh, and also, Indira Mataji, if you are watching, could you send me a WhatsApp message just to let me know? Because I remember before, the like when Indira Mataji was in a different country, the timing didn't work with her, the time zone, and so she wasn't able to join live. But she joined all the Srimad Bhagavatam classes for a very long time, and I didn't even realize it until afterwards. So I'm just curious if Indira Mataji, if you're still watching, I'm just yeah, just be nice to know if you're here or not. All right, the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore muro lok shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Nashi Sarvaya Mangal, Chaitanya Nitar Jate Jani Mahima, जाते जाने कृष्ण भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सीमा भागवते যত ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্তের সার লিখিয়াছেন ইহা জানি করিয়া উদ্ধার চৈতন্য মঙ্গল শুনে যদি পাষাণ্ডী জবন সেহ মহাবৈষ্ণব হয় ততক্ষণ মানুষে রচিতে নারে ঐচ্ছে গ্রন্থ ধন্য বৃন্দাবন দাস মুখে বক্তা শ্রী চৈতন্য বৃন্দাবন দাস পদে কোটি নমস্কার Aiche granta korite ho tarila sansar. Narayani Chaitanya uchishta bhajan. Tar garve janmila Shridasa Vrindavan. Tar ki arbuta Chaitanya charita varnan. Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar. Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Sachinanda Gaur Hari ki Jai. And who is it? Sridhar Pandit, Murari Gupta, and Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Śrī Advaita Ācārya ki Jai. All right. Once again, my throat's starting to go. Yeah, it's starting to go out. You can tell it sounds a little bit different. I'm just gonna get a cough drop. One second. And Chandrasekhar managed to get fisherman's friends in India. All right. Okay. Wonder where Raseshwari Mataji is. Are you there, Raseshwari Mataji? Okay. Chapter 10. Conclusion of the Lord's Mahaprakash pastimes. Okay, so we're going to read the synopsis by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj up till the point where we're reading till today. Okay. This chapter describes the conclusion of Mahaprabhu's Mahaprakash pastimes mentioned in the previous chapter. Hari Bol Raseshwari Mataji. Okay. It also describes Mahaprabhu's exhibition in the form of Ram with his associates and awarding benediction to Murari Gupta, and also the glorification of Haridas Thakur's offering of prayers to Gauranga, the narration of Advaita Ācārya's previous history, his changing the text of Bhagavad-gītā, that's what we'll be reading up to today, and then the Lord's awarding various benedictions to the devotees, the Lord's first ignoring and then bestowing mercy on Mukunda, the influence of devotional service, the topics of Narayani, and the glories of Nityananda. These are all the topics of this chapter. So let's now go through a more in-depth, more in-depth summary. After awarding benediction to Sridhar, Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Ācārya to ask for some benediction. Hari Bol Shubhananda Prabhu. Advaita, however, simply prayed to the Lord to award him his desired goal of life, but did not openly ask for any benediction. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu displayed the form of Sri Ram with his associates to Murari Gupta, and Mahaprabhu reminded Murari of his previous identity. As Murari Gupta realized his own form as Hanuman, he fell unconscious to the ground. Later on, he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord and prayed for the benediction of being able to eternally serve Lord Chaitanya and his associates, remember the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. With Murari Gupta, he was I mean, he was constantly worshiping Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and but he didn't realize that he was Hanuman until Mahaprabhu revealed it to him, right? And so he must have been worshiping Hanuman. If he was like, seeing Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, like I'm just curious, like if he all of a sudden, wait, that's me? I'm Hanuman? Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, that was really like, that might have been a dumb thing to say, but anyways, just a thought that popped into my head. Okay. So then he fell unconscious to the ground. Later on, he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord and prayed for the benediction of being able to eternally serve Lord Chaitanya and his associates, remember the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord awarded this benediction to Murari and declared that anyone who blasphemes Murari will not be delivered even if he takes millions of baths in the Ganga and chants the holy names of Hari. Thereafter, the Lord revealed the meaning of the name Murari Gupta. The meaning was Murari, Lord Murari, Bhagavan Murari. Gupta. Gupta means secret. In a very hidden, secret way, it resides in Murari Gupta's heart. Mahaprabhu then instructed Haridas to behold his form. Mahaprabhu declared that Haridas was more dear to him than his own self, and that he and Haridas belonged to the same family. On seeing the distress of Haridas, the Lord had descended from Vaikuntha with the Sudarshan chakra in his hand. But since Haridas desired auspiciousness for even his oppressors, the Sudarshan chakra desisted, and Mahaprabhu took the beating of Haridas on his own body. After exhibiting those marks of torture on his own body, Mahaprabhu further said that he was unable to tolerate the distress of Haridas, so he incarnated immediately. Lord Krishna, who is controlled by his devotees, does not know anything except his devotees. One who has no love for the holy names of Krishna, who is affectionate towards his devotees. One who has no love for the holy names of Krishna, who is so affectionate towards his devotees. The holy names, right? Who is so affectionate towards his devotees. Krishna, who is so affectionate towards his devotees. That person is simply suffering the results of his own misfortune. On hearing the topics of the Lord's unlimited mercy, Haridas fell unconscious to the ground. Although he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord, he became agitated and began to cry. Thus, he could not see the form of the Lord. With great humility, Haridas offered prayers to Mahaprabhu and said that the most merciful Gaurasundar never abandons even an insect who remembers his lotus feet. But he destroys even an emperor who does not remember his lotus feet. In this regard, Haridas cited the examples of Draupadi, Prahlad, Yudhishthir, Yudhishthir, who feared the curse of Durvasa, and Ajamil, and thus established the supremacy of Gaurasundar's affection for his surrendered devotees. After expressing his total incompetence, Haridas simply prayed to the Lord that he may develop a taste for honoring the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's servants. That this may be his only form of worship, birth after birth, and that Mahaprabhu may keep him as a dog in the house of his devotee. Such beautiful prayers. Maybe we can read the translations from that point on when we finish this. Mahaprabhu, who constantly resides in the heart of Haridas, then awarded Haridas the benediction of pure devotional service, devoid of offenses against Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. And he declared, anyone who associates with Haridas for even a moment and has full faith in Haridas, that person will certainly attain my lotus feet. It is taught in all scriptures that by hearing the glories of the devotees, one attains devotional service to Krishna. According to the opinion of some persons, Haridas is an incarnation of Brahma, and according to others, he is an incarnation of Prahlad. His association is desired by even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and his touch is desired by even the Ganga. Moreover, simply by the darshan of Haridas, one's bondage of fruitive activities from time immemorial is at once severed. In order to establish the supremacy of the Vaishnavas occasionally manifest the pastime of taking birth in a low-class family. Hari Bol Suryavi Didi. Mahaprabhu reminded, now this is what we're going to be reading about today. Mahaprabhu reminded Advaita about his previous activities of explaining devotional service in every passage of the Bhagavad-gītā, fasting on not finding the devotional meaning of some verse, seeing Mahaprabhu in his dream, and receiving the actual meaning of that verse and the instruction to break his fast. The Lord then reveals the proper meaning of the Bhagavad-gītā verse, beginning Sarvata Pani Padam Tat. Śrī Advaita Ācārya, Chaitanya's covert disciple, said that it was Lord Chaitanya's greatness that he is Advaita's worshipable Lord. Those who deny the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya and serve Advaita, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, by considering him the independent Lord, are actually offenders at the feet of Advaita. Their fate will certainly be like that of the 10-headed Ravan. Those who consider Advaita the foremost Vaishnava and the servant of Lord Chaitanya are actual devotees of Advaita and are qualified to attain the lotus feet of Krishna. This is Advaita's own statement. And then we're going to end with this verse, I think. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu awarded desired benedictions to the assembled devotees. I think that's the next verse. Yeah. All right, so that's the summary for today. Let me look up the word remnants, because those prayers of Haridas Thakur, I mean, they're just so beautiful. Remnants. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay. One second. Okay. Okay, so Haridas Thakur and his glorification, he went through the characteristics of, who is it? We just read it. Prahlad Maharaj, Draupadi, Yudhishthir Maharaj, like that, and so on. Ajamil, like that, of how they remembered the Lord. He said, I am fully devoid of the remembrance of your lotus feet, yet nevertheless, O Lord, do not forsake me. What qualification do I have to see you? O Lord, I will ask you for only one thing, not more. Ek boy, Prabhu, only ek one benediction. Kichu na chahibo, I don't want anything else. The Lord said, speak, speak. Everything is yours. There is nothing that I will not give you. Then Haridas folded his hands and said, although I am less fortunate, I have a great desire. May the remnants of the servants who worship your lotus feet be my foodstuffs. Tomar charana bhaji je shakal das, tar avashish jeno hoy mor grash. Let this be my devotional service, birth after birth. Let this be my bhajan. She bhajan mor ho janma janma. She avashesha mor kriya kula dharma. Let honoring these remnants be my only occupation and religious duty. My life is simple because I am devoid of remembrance of you. Please make my life successful by allowing me to eat the remnants of your servants. I think this is an offense on my part, for I have no qualification to ask for such an exalted position. O my Lord, O Master, O my dear Vishvambar, I am like a dead person. Please forgive my offense. We're asking for such an exalted position of being somebody who gets to take the remnants of the Vaishnavas. O son of Shachi, O dear Lord, please be merciful to me. Kindly keep me in the house of a devotee as a dog. Haridas Thakur became filled with love and devotion for the Lord. Although he repeatedly petitioned the Lord with humility, his desires remained unsatiated. The Lord said, "Listen, my dear Haridas. Anyone who resides with you for even a day or speaks with you for even a moment will certainly achieve me. There is no doubt about it. One who respects you respects me, for I constantly reside within your body. My glories are increased by a servant like you. You have eternally bound me within your heart. You have not committed any offense to me or to any Vaishnava. Therefore, I am awarding you devotional service. I'm awarding you bhakti." As the Lord awarded this benediction on Haridas, a tumultuous sound of Jai, Jai arose. Good birth, noble family, pious activities, and material wealth cannot award one the treasure of love of God. Only by intense desire can one achieve Krishna. All the scriptures declare that a Vaishnav may be born in any family, but he is certainly situated on the topmost position. Yavan Haridas is the prime example of this, for he saw the Lord's manifestation, which is rare for even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma. A sinful person who considers that Vaishnavas belong to a particular caste suffers in the lowest species of life, birth after birth. This is a famous verse. Je papishta Vaishnaver jati buddhi kore, janma janma adham jonite dubi more. Anyone who hears the prayers of Haridas and the benediction he received will certainly obtain the treasure of Krishna Prem. Jai Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai. All right, so that's where we read up to yesterday. And now, perfect timing at 7:30. Now we're going to continue with our today's reading. Okay, in History Pot there's Hanuman. You mean in Mayapur, right? Yeah, we went there a couple times recently. Okay. Evachana mor nahi. One second, I'm gonna move the chat over here so that I actually see it when it comes up. Okay. Okay, so anyone who hears the prayers of Haridas and the benediction he received will certainly obtain the treasure of Krishna Prem. Now, Vrindavan Thakur says, E vachan mor nahe sarva shastre koi, bhakta kyan shunile krishnete bhakti hoy. Says, this is not my statement. This is a verdict of all the scriptures. Simply by hearing topics about the devotees, one develops devotion for Krishna. Gaudiya Bhashya. One should discuss Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2 verses 17 to 18, 1:5 verse 28, 2:2 verse 37, 2:8 verse 4, 3:9 verse 11, 10:33 verse 39, and 12:3 verse 12. Mahabhakta Haridas Thakur Jai Jai, Haridasa Sangarane Sarva Papa Koi. All glories to the great devotee Haridas Thakur. By remembering Haridas, all one's sinful reactions are vanquished. Oops, I haven't been using this microphone. Sorry about that. Now the sound will be much better. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Okay. Keho bole chaturmukha jeno Haridas. Keho bole pralader jeno parakash. Someone said, Haridas is like four-headed Brahma. Another person said, he is the manifestation of Prahlad. Sarvamate Mahabhagavata Haridas Chaitanya Koshtir Shange Jahar Vilas. Haridas is certainly an exalted devotee. He enjoys his pastimes amongst the associates of Lord Chaitanya. Brahma Shiva Haridas Heno Bhakta Shanga Niravadi Korite Chitter Bororanga. Personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva constantly desire to associate with a devotee such as Haridas. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Brahma, the grandfather of the universe, and Shiva, the destroyer of the universe, always express a desire to achieve the association of Haridas. Haridasa Sparsha Vancha Kore Devgan Ganga O Vanchin Haridaser Majan. The demigods desire the touch of Haridas, and Ganga awaits Haridas's bath in her waters. Gaudiya Bhashya. Ganga, the deliverer of the fallen souls, desires that Haridas take bath in her waters. In descriptions on the strength of sadhan, the dust of the lotus of the devotee's feet and the water that has washed the devotee's feet are said to be supreme. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Antya 1660 states, Bhakta Paraduli Ar Bhakta Patajal Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh Teen Mahabhal. The dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and the remnants of food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. And sometimes it's written sadhanirpal, that gives strength to perform our spiritual practices. It's what we need to be able to perform sadhana. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 996, it is stated, Shri Bhagirata Uvacha Sadhavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Lokapavana Arantyagham Tengha Sangat Teshvaste Yagabhiridhari. Those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in the renounced order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the regulative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior, and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted, for such devotees always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can vanquish all sinful reactions. Okay, that's good to know. Both mics are good. Is there a big difference between them? Between this Shure mic and the... Like, can you hear the difference, I mean? Sparsher ki dai tekile haridas chinde sarva jiver anadi karma pash. What to speak of his touch? Just by the sight of Haridas, all one's bondage from time immemorial is cut to pieces. Gaudiya Bhashya. Turning the essence of all scriptures, the author states, by seeing a Vaishnav, all good fortune is awakened. The living entities are bound by the ropes of karma due to material desires from time immemorial. If they see the supremely liberated Haridas, then their thirst for material enjoyment will be destroyed, and they will be freed from all anarthas, or unwanted things. If such a thing happens just by seeing such a person, then one can certainly expect more auspiciousness from his touch. This is loudly proclaimed in the scriptures. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Gangara parasha hoile pashate pavan darshane pavitra karo tomar guna. After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganga many times, one becomes purified. But just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.14, it is stated, Apana sangsritam goram yannama vivasho grinan tata sadyo vimucheta yad vibheti swayam bhayam. Okay, thanks, Haripriya and Raseshwari Mataji. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1:19, verses 33 to 34, it is stated, Yesham samsmaranat pungsam sadya shuddhanti vai griha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shochasanadibhi sanidhyat te mahayogin patakani mahantyapi sadyo nashyanti vai pungsam vishnur eva suretara. Simply by our remembering you, our houses have become instantly sanctified. And what to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home? Just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic. Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:48-31, it is said, Na hyam mayani tirtani, na deva mrichila maya, te punatirukalena darshanad evasadava. I remember learning this in Gurukul. I haven't seen this verse forever though, since Gurukul time. But yeah. Well, I guess we came across it when our Srimad Bhagavatam readings, but yeah. No one can deny that there are holy places with sacred rivers, or that the demigods appear in deity forms made of earth and stone. Well, everybody, the power went out, so I just switched over to my mobile connection. All right. Hey, Kishore disappeared. Okay. 1 second. Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Oh. Okay. So no one can deny that there are holy places with sacred rivers, or that the demigods appear in deity forms made of earth and stone. But these purify the soul only after a long time, whereas saintly persons purify just by being seen. What is it? There's a verse by Nartam Das Thakur in that song, Thakur Vaishnava Pad. It's Tirtha Jal Pavitra Gune Likhi Ache Purane Shesha Bhaktir Pravanchan Vaishnaver Padodaka Samanahe E Sab Jate Hoy Vanchita Puran. That means the waters at holy places, um they're just a pretense for attaining devotion. They're just Bhaktir Pravanchan. But the water of holy places, they cannot even compare. Vaishnava Padodak Samanahe Esab, they cannot even compare to being equal to the water that has washed the feet of the Vaishnavas. For that water, Vanchita Puran, it fulfills all one's desires. Okay. Prahlada Jeheno Daita Kapi Hanuman Mata Haridasa Nicha Jati Nam. As Prahlad was born in a demon family and Hanuman was born in a monkey family, Haridas was born in a so-called low-class family. 1 second. I just want to see if it's still running on YouTube and Facebook. Looks like it is. Okay, great. Gaudiya Bhashya. Prahlad was a son of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, he is not renowned as a devata or a godly person. Hanuman was born in an animal family, so he cannot be called a civilized person. Just as it is most essential to accept Prahlad and Hanuman as the greatest Vaishnavas, it is also most essential to accept Thakur Haridas, who was born in a non-Hindu low-class family, as a Mahabhagavat. Haridasa kande kande murari Sridhar, hasiya tambul khai Prabhu Vishwambhar. As Haridas, Murari, and Sridhar cried, Lord Vishwambar smiled and ate betel nuts. Gaudiya Bhashya. After hearing all these topics, Haridas, Murari, and Sridhar began to shed tears of love. Boshiache Mahajoti, Katar Upare, Mahajoti Nityananda Chatra Dhore Shire. As the most effulgent Lord sat on the throne, the most effulgent Nityananda held an umbrella over his head. Advaiter bhite chahi hasiya hasiya, manir vritantatar kohe prakashiya. The Lord smiled and looked at Advaita Ācārya as he revealed Advaita's internal sentiments. Gaudiya Bhashya. Ha mane jage. Listen, O Acharya, do you remember how I made you eat one night? Bhojan korailo. That's Gaudiya Bhashya, Gaudiya Bhashya C verses 123 and 124. Okay, we're going to be reading them soon. Jokhon amar nahi hoy avatar, amare anite shrama korila apar. Before I incarnated, you greatly endeavored to bring me. Gita Shastra porao, bakhana bhakti matra, bujhite tomar vyakhya keva ache patra. As you taught Bhagavad-gītā, you would explain everything in relation to devotional service. But who is the proper candidate to understand your explanations? Je shloker arte nahi pao bhakti yoga, shloker na deho dosh chado sarva bhog. If you did not find the devotional meaning of a verse, you would give up all enjoyment rather than find fault with the verse. Gaudiya Bhashya. During your recitation of Bhagavad-gītā, whenever you did not find the devotional meaning of a verse, you would renounce all enjoyment while condemning your knowledge as materialistic rather than finding fault with the verse. Dukkha pai stuti thako kori upavas, tabe ami tomasthane hoi parakash. Being distressed, you went to sleep without eating. I then manifested myself before you. Tomari upase mui mano upavas, tumi more de je deho she more gras. I consider your fasting as my fasting. Whatever you offer me, that is what I eat. Gaudiya Bhashya. When a devotee of the Lord fasts, the Supreme Lord does not eat. The Supreme Lord never accepts any service from non-devotees. The Lord accepts only the foodstuffs that are offered by his devotees. Tilarda tomar dukha ami nahi sahi, swapne asi tomar sahita katha kohi. I cannot tolerate when you feel even the slightest distress. Therefore, I appeared in your dream and spoke to you. Utho utho Acārya shloker artha shuno. Ei artha ei pata nisandeha jana. Get up, Acharya. Hear the meaning of the verse. Know for certain that this is the real meaning. Uthiya bhojan koro, na koro upas. Tomar lagiya ami koribo prakash. Get up and eat. Do not fast. Because of you, I will incarnate. Santoshe uthiya tumi koroho bhojan. Ami boli tumi jeno manoho swapan. You got up and ate in satisfaction. Although I spoke to you directly, you thought it was a dream. You got up and ate in satisfaction. Although I spoke to you directly, you thought it was a dream. E mata jay pate dvida hoy. Swapner kata prabhu pratyaksha kohoy. In this way, whenever some doubt arose during his recitation, the Lord would directly speak to him in his dream. Gaudiya Bhashya. Whenever Advaita Prabhu's recitation of Bhagavad-gītā created doubts in the minds of ordinary people and obstacles in extracting meanings favorable to devotional service, he heard the actual purport from Mahaprabhu during his sleep. Jata ratri swapna hoy, je dine je khane, jata shlok shab Prabhu kohila apane. The Lord reminded Advaita about all those dreams, days, moments, and verses. Gaudiya Bhashya. Mahaprabhu personally reminded Advaita reminded Advaita Prabhu about all the verses that he previously had some doubts about. Dhanya dhanya advaiter bhaktir mahima. Bhakti shakti ki bolibo e tar sima. The glories of Advaita's devotional service are most wonderful. How can I describe the extent of his devotional prowess? One second, I just noticed I didn't write what verses we're going to be reading up to today. So I'm just checking really quickly on here. Prabhu bole sarvapat kohilo tomare ekapat nahi kohi aji kohi tore. The Lord said, although I explained all the verses, I did not explain one, which I will now explain to you. Okay, so we are reading up to verse 166. Okay, so I did not explain one verse, so I'll explain it to you now. Sampradaya anurode sabe manda pore sarvata pani padam tat e patan norde. According to the respective sampradayas, people give wrong interpretations. The actual reading of the verse is not sarvata pani padam tat. Ajitore satya kohi chariya kapata sarvatra pani padam tat e satya pat. Today, I will tell you without any pretension the actual reading of the verse. The actual reading of the verse is sarvatra pani padam tat. Oh, is the difference? Sarvatra pani padam tat? Hey, they look exactly the same. Oh no, one's sarvata and the other is sarvatra. Sarvata means all the time, right? And sarvatra means everywhere. one should discuss Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3:16. Sarvata pani padam tat sarvatrokshi kshiro mukham sarvata shrutimaloke sarvam avrittatishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the Supersoul exists, pervading everything. Ati gupta pata ami kohilo tomare, toma boy patra keba ache kohibare. I have thus explained the confidential purport of this verse, but other than you, who can understand it? Chaitanyar Gupta Shishya Acharya Goshai, Chaitanyar Sarva Vyakhya Acharya Thai. Acharya Goshai was a secret disciple of Lord Chaitanya. He understood all of Lord Chaitanya's confidential explanations. Shuniya Acharya Preme Kandite Lagila Paya Monir Kata Mahanande Bhola. After hearing the Lord's explanation, Advaita Ācārya began to cry in ecstatic love. Hearing the topics that he desired to hear, he forgot himself in ecstasy. Advaita boloy ar, ki bolibo mui, ei mor mahatva je mor nata tui. Advaita said, "What more can I say? I am glorious to have you as my master." Anande vivala hoila Acharya Goshai, Prabhur Prakasha Deki, Bahya Kichunai. Advaita Goshai became overwhelmed in ecstasy and completely forgot himself on seeing the Lord's manifestation. Esab Katai Jar, Nahiko Pratita, Adhapat Hoitar Jani Ho Nishchita. Know for certain that anyone who does not believe these topics goes to hell. Gaudiya Bhashya. The impersonalists maintain the reading as sarvata, from everything, while superficially accepting the meaning as sarvatra, everywhere. The personalist accepts the form of the Supreme Lord. Since the impersonalists propound the theory that this material world is false, they do not accept that the hands, legs, ears, eyes, head, and face of the Supreme Lord are eternal. Through the philosophy of Achinta Bheda Bhed, simultaneously oneness and difference, one can realize the Lord's senses, worthy of eternal service, apart from the enjoyable forms that are seen through external vision. A Mahabhagavat always sees the Supreme Lord as Purushottam, the supreme enjoyer, and Hrishikesh, the controller of the senses. Rather than seeing the external world with the spirit of enjoyment, they see everything as a source of enjoyment for Purushottam. As followers of Vishishta Advaitavad, the philosophy of specific monism, as they consider this material world as the gross body of the Supreme Lord, or as followers of Kevala Advaitavad, the philosophy of exclusive monism, deny the existence of the material creation, such conceptions are not necessary in the most subtle philosophy of Achinta Bheda Bhed. There is no impediment for a devotee whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love there's no impediment for a devotee to always see the Lord's eternal form with all his limbs and sublimbs. Although in this temporary material world, the mundane conceptions that are born from aversion to the Lord's service appear factual, there are no anarthas present in the conceptions of a pure spirit soul. The artha, or goal of the living entity, is to take shelter of the worshipable Lord. Therefore, one does not have to always maintain the concept of soliciting material enjoyment, as done by the living entities who are controlled by material enjoyment and forced to enjoy the fruits of their karma. This is the Lord's desire. As long as the fruitive workers maintain anarthas, they consider temporary objects as enjoyable, and the universal form as concocted or imaginary. Moreover, the impersonalists who search after indifferent Brahman consider the existence of material form as born of sensual perception and display indifference towards the acceptance of temporary material existence. Since the followers of Shuddha Advaita philosophy are unable to perceive the spiritual ecstasy in the external world, since they accept that the spirit soul is devoid of ecstasy, and since they express a difference of opinion in ascertaining the relationship between Satchidananda and this material world, because of this, they are unable to realize the actual meaning of the Achinta Bheda Bhed philosophy. This Sarvatra Pani Padam Tat verse has appeared in order to reveal that the energetic Lord is present everywhere in his Satchidananda form. A faithless person will be deceived from the actual truth that lies in Sri Gaurasundar's explanation and in Sri Advaita's acceptance of that explanation. Degradation in the form of temporary material conceptions will be the only gain for such a person. Mahabhagavate bhuje advaiter vyakhya apane chaitanya jare korai lok shiksha. A Mahabhagavat can understand the explanations of Advaita, who is personally taught by Lord Chaitanya. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although the explanations of Sri Advaita Prabhu are born of Achinta Bhed, or inconceivable oneness, they are actually Achinta Bhed Abhed. Exalted Vaishnavas can understand this. Ignorant people consider Sri Advaita Prabhu a preacher of the Kevala Advaita philosophy, and Sri Gaurasundar as a preceptor of Dvaita philosophy, which is opposed to the philosophy of Chinta Dvaita, conceivable duality. Since some degree of Mayavad philosophy was preached among Advaita's so-called descendants who were unable to understand the actual purport of his explanations, even today, the same seed of aversion to devotional service is creating sentiments that are opposed to pure devotional service. They do not know that Sri Advaita Prabhu did not give any explanation that was not approved by Sri Chaitanya Dev. Verse 139. Vede jeno nana mata karaye katan, e mata acharyer durgeya vachan. As the Vedas have various opinions, the statements of Advaita Ācārya are very difficult to understand. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since the so-called descendants of Advaita Ācārya, who could not understand his explanations, taught the people of this world that considerations unfavorable to devotional service should be accepted by the devotees, Panchupasana, worship of 5 gods, has gained more respect in various parts of Bengal and Assam. Thakur Vrindavan Das has stated that as various injunctions of the Vedic literatures appear contradictory from the external point of view, and as a result, various philosophies like Kevala Advaita, Shuddha Advaita, and Dvaita Advaita have arisen, people who are so in the same way, people who are unable to understand Advaita Acharya's words and proper and behavior, they support various philosophies that they claim Advaita taught. Well, actually, Sri Advaita Prabhu has taught the world on the basis of Sri Chaitanya Dev's teachings. He has taught the world on the basis of Sri Chaitanya Dev's teachings. Although his explanations appeared contradictory, they were approved by and in agreement with those of Sri Chaitanya. Although the explanations presented by Sri Chaitanya support the philosophy of inconceivable oneness, they nevertheless simultaneously support the philosophy of difference. Therefore, they are not the subject matter of material thought. Advaiter vyakhya buji bar shaktikar, jani ho ishwar sange bhed nahi jar. Who can understand the statements of Advaita? Know for certain that he is none different from the Supreme Lord. Sharater mega jeno parabhagye barshe sarvatra nakore vrishti kotaho barishe. The autumn clouds do not rain everywhere, but rain only on some fortunate places. Gaudiya Bhashya. During autumn, it does not rain everywhere at the same time. It rains in some places, and it does not rain in others. Fortunate places can expect rain during autumn. The statements of Advaita Prabhu also brought good fortune to some persons, but have created misfortune for others. Okay, now we're on verse 142. While describing Sri Krishna and Balaram's Vraj pastimes that were performed during the rainy and autumn seasons in Sri Vrindavan Dham, Sri Dham Vrindavan, Sri Shukadev spoke as follows, said, Girayo mumuchu stoyam, vachina mumuchu shivam, yatha jnanamritam kale, jnanino dadate nava. During this season, the mountains sometimes released their pure water and sometimes did not. Just as experts in transcendental science sometimes give the nectar of transcendental knowledge and sometimes do not. E mata advaiter kichu dosha nai, bhagya bhuji vyakya kore shaitai. In this way, Advaita Ācārya has no fault. People understood his explanations according to their own piety or impiety. Chaitanya Charana Seva, Advaiter Kaj, Ihate Pramana Sa Vaishnava Samaj. The only engagement of Advaita is to serve the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. The activities of the activities of Vaishnava societies are the evidence of this fact. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sorry, I think I'm going to stand up now. I'll be right back. Oh, whoops. And I've been connected to my phone. Okay. So Gaudiya Bhashya. Pure Vaishnavas never disrespect Śrī Advaita Prabhu. They know that Śrī Advaita Prabhu is conversant with all the teachings of Śrī Caitanya and accept him as Lord Vishnu. Eka Mahaprabhu ar Prabhu dui jan, dui Prabhu sheve Mahaprabhu charan. One of them is Mahaprabhu, and the other two are Prabhus. That's Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu. These two Prabhus, Nityananda and Advaita, serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Those are the three of the Panchatattva, three Vishnu Tattva forms, three that we put Tulsi on their feet, not in their hands, like Gadadhar and Srivas. One second, I'm just putting something under my feet. Okay. Those who have firm faith in this statement do not consider Advaita Prabhu on the same level as his unfortunate, ignorant followers. Sarva Bhagavater Vachana Anadhari Advaiter Seva Kore Nahe Priyankari. If one disregards the statements of exalted devotees while serving Advaita, his service will not be pleasing. Nahe Priyankari. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who disrespect devotional service by serving Advaita in name only, while disregarding the words of Sri Chaitanya Dev's devotees, do not contribute to the well-being of this world. Chaitanyate Maha Maheshwara Buddhijar, She Advaita Bhakta Advaita Tahar. Anyone who accepts Sri Chaitanya as the supreme controller of all controllers, that person is an actual devotee of Advaita, and Advaita belongs to him. Gaudiya Bhashya. Only those who accept Sri Chaitanya Dev as the worshipable Lord of Sri Advaita Ācārya, they are the actual devotees of Advaita Prabhu. Sri Advaita Prabhu accepts only their service. And those who in the course of serving at Sri Advaita consider Advaita as Vishnu and Śrī Caitanya-chandra as the daughter of Vrishabhanu, they can never be accepted as real followers of Advaita. Wow, people say that, huh? They say that Advaita is Vishnu and Chaitanya Chandra is Srimati Radhika. 50 years ago, such an abominable new philosophy was preached in the village of Shantipur. This philosophy was also spread to Kalna, and by following this philosophy, the inhabitants of that place went to hell. Wow, they didn't know about that. Sarva Prabhu Gora, verse 147. Sarva Prabhu Gora Chandra Iha Jena Loy, Akai Advaita Seva Vyartatar Hoy. The inexhaustible service of Advaita is useless for one who does not accept Gora Chandra is the Lord of all. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Advaita Prabhu is Vishnu Tattva and the Upadan, or material cause of the material elements. His service is imperishable. But if one does not accept Advaita's worshipable Lord, Śrī Gaurasundar, as the worshipable Lord of all, and commits offense by considering Advaita Prabhu as the worshipable Lord of Mahaprabhu, then all his service to Advaita Prabhu becomes fruitless. The abominable so-called servants of Advaita say that since Śrī Gaura's devotees display the quality of unalloyed devotion to Mahaprabhu, they are opposed to the service of Advaita. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 12.5, chapter 12, verses 5, 7 to 10, 16, verses 66 to 74, it is said, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu was also the gardener, and as he poured the water of his mercy on the tree, all the branches and sub-branches grew day after day. As the trunk and branches were watered, the branches and sub-branches spread lavishly, and the tree grew full with fruits and flowers. At first, all the followers of Advaita Ācārya shared a single opinion, but later they followed two different opinions, as ordained by Providence. Some of the disciples strictly accepted the orders of the Acharya, and others deviated, independently concocting their own opinions under the spell of Daivi Maya. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master of the 14 worlds, but you say that someone else is his spiritual master? This is not supported by any revealed scripture. Okay, that was from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Advaita Acharya branch received the water supplied by the original gardener, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, the sub-branches were nourished, and their fruits and flowers grew luxuriantly. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of the branches, for unfortunate reasons, deviated from his path. Some branches did not accept the original trunk that vitalized and maintained the entire tree. When they thus became ungrateful, the original trunk was angry at them. Thus, Lord Chaitanya did not sprinkle upon them the water of his mercy, and they gradually withered and died. A person without Krishna consciousness is no better than dry wood or a dead body. He is understood to be dead while living, and after death, he is punishable by Yamaraj. Not only the misguided descendants of Advaita Ācārya, but anyone who is against the cult of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu should be considered an atheist subject to be punished by Yamaraj. Be he a learned scholar, a great ascetic, a successful householder, or a famous sannyasi, one who is against the cult of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is destined to suffer the punishment meted out by Yamaraj. The descendants of Advaita Ācārya who accept the path of Śrī Achyutananda, they were all great devotees. By the mercy of Advaita Ācārya, the devotees who strictly follow the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attained the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet without difficulty. During, I think it was the 3rd month of Chaturmasya, we were singing every day the Gaur Gadadhar Ashtakam written by Achyutananda. Achyutananda was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit, right? Advaita's son. Okay. Shirachedi bhakti jeno kore dashanana. Namanaye raghunata shiver karana. The 10-headed Ravan worshipped Shiva with devotion and disrespected Ramachandra. As a result, his heads were severed from his body. Gaudiya Bhashya. The 10-headed Ravan was a renowned devotee of Shiva. Although he was a devotee of Shiva, he did not serve Ramachandra, the worshipful lord of Shiva. Rather, he exhibited his sinful propensity by kidnapping Ramachandra's consort, Sita. That 10-headed devotee of Rudra committed the sin of envying Ramachandra, and as a result of his perverted mentality, he lost all his heads. Ramachandra alone is the original cause and worshipable lord of Shiva. Since this fact did not enter the 10 heads of Ravan, Rudradev did not actually accept his service. Those who are capable of pleasing Lord Shiva through the service, they achieve auspiciousness. But since Rudra was not pleased by the worship and service offered by Ravan, he and his entire family were killed. In the same way, since the service propensity of Advaita's descendants and their followers was misdirected, they became envious of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, and cut off forever from the Vaishnav society like the Atibadis. Those descendants of Advaita and their followers who blaspheme Śrī Caitanya and cannot understand Advaita Prabhu's service propensity towards Śrī Caitanya, they cannot remain on the platform of devotional service to Vishnu. Some people say that Vrikasura received the benediction from Mahadev that anyone whose head he touched would be burnt to ashes. This demon created anxiety for Rudra when he went to test the efficacy of the received benediction by first touching the head of Sri Rudra. He wanted to test it out on the person who gave him the benediction. By the advice of Lord Vishnu, the demon touched his own head to test the efficacy of the boon. He was at once destroyed. Since Ravan, who was a staunch devotee of Lord Shiva, fell into similar circumstances, he, like the Prakrit Sahajyas, also welcomed material enjoyment on the pretext of devotional service rather than serve Ramachandra, the worshipful lord of Shiva. This was Ravan's own head-severing devotion to Shiva. This was Ravan's own head-severing devotion to Shiva. Since Ravan envied Ramachandra and became averse to the service of Sita Devi, the worshipable goddess of Sita, his worshipable lord Shiva, became displeased with him. All those Advaita descendants and their so-called Vaishnava followers who display the expertise of their devotional service while maintaining envy of Śrī Caitanya and his devotees, they also fall into such a miserable conditions. Antare charilo Shiva, she na jane iha. Seva vyarta hoilo moilo, savangshe puriya. He did not know that Lord Shiva rejected him from his heart. Therefore, Ravan's service was fruitless, and he was burned to death along with his family. Bhalo manda Shiva kichu bhangiya na koi, jar buddhi thake she chitte bhuji loy. Lord Shiva does not reveal what is good and bad for someone, but one who has intelligence can understand. That person can understand. E mata advaiter chitana bhujiya, bolai advaita bhakta chaitanya nindiya. In this way, people blaspheme Lord Chaitanya while claiming to be devotees of Advaita, without understanding Advaita's heart. Na bole Advaita kichu swabhava karane, na dhore Vaishnava vakya more bhalo mane. Due to his nature, Advaita does not say anything, but one who does not accept the statements of the Vaishnavas, that person is certainly vanquished. Jahara prasare advaiter sarva siddhi, heno chaitanyer kichu na janaye shuddhi. Such a person does not know the glories of Lord Chaitanya, by whose mercy Advaita has all perfection. Iha bolite aishe, daya mari bare, aho maya balavati ki boli botare. As soon as we declare this, people rush to beat us. Alas, how powerful the illusory energy is. What can we say to them? Gaudiya Bhashya. Being determined to blaspheme Śrī Caitanya, the so-called devotees of Advaita commit such offenses in the course of glorifying Advaita that as a result, their degradation is guaranteed. Even though Śrī Advaita Prabhu does not award suitable punishment to those people, their inauspiciousness is inevitable. Śrī Chaitanya Dev's mercy is the source of Śrī Advaita Prabhu's all perfection. Therefore, such aversion to Lord Chaitanya can never purify them. When the insurmountable illusory energy of Vishnu induces the living entities to become averse to the Lord's service by covering their service propensity, they attack the devotees of Gaur. Bhakta Raja Alankar iha nahi jane, Advaiter Prabhu Gaura Chandra nahi mane. They do not know that Advaita Prabhu is the ornament and king of the devotees. They do not accept Gaura Chandra as the lord of Advaita. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Caitanya Dev is the most enchanting supreme personality of Godhead. Śrī Advaita Prabhu is like Śrī Chaitanya's ornament. Without understanding this, the blasphemy of Mahaprabhu in the form of accepting Śrī Advaita Prabhu as Shyam Sundar and Gaura Sundar as subordinates to Advaita Prabhu, that was spread amongst those who were known as Advaita's followers, and that is certainly far away from the kingdom of devotional service. Purve je akhyan hoilo she satya hoy, tahate pratita jar nahi tar khoy. Whatever I have described so far is true. Anyone who does not believe these statements will be vanquished. Jata jata shuno jar jate ka barai, Chaitanyar seva hoite ar kichu nai. Whatever glories you hear about the devotees, are all due to their service of Lord Chaitanya. Gaudiya Bhashya. One's greatness is determined by how much he is engaged in the service of Śrī Caitanya. The degree of attachment one has for the service of Śrī Caitanya determines one's higher or lower status. Nityananda Mahaprabhu jare kripa kori, ar jeno bhagya bhakti she adare. According to one's fortune, Nityananda and Mahaprabhu award mercy. Then one engages in devotional service with faith. I'm going to walk back and forth like I did yesterday. Hope you don't mind. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Caitanya Dev and Śrī Nityananda Prabhu reciprocate with one according to one's fortune and degree of devotional service. The devotees also accordingly become attached to the service of Gaur Nityananda's lotus feet. Ahar Nishalawai Thakur Nityananda Bolo Bhai Shab Mor Prabhu Gaura Chandra. Day and night, Lord Nityananda instructed everyone, "O brothers, say Gaura Chandra Prabhu is my master. More Prabhu Gaura Chandra, Bolo Bhai Shab." Chaitanya Smarana Kori Ācārya Goshai Niravadi Kande Ar Kichu Smriti Nai. Remembering the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, Advaita Gosai constantly cried and forgot everything else. Iha deki Chaitanya te jar bhakti noy, tahara alape hoy sukritir khoy. One's piety diminishes by speaking with someone who does not develop devotion for Lord Chaitanya even after seeing this. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Advaita Prabhu always cries while remembering the lotus feet of Śrī Caitanya. He does not think of anything other than Śrī Caitanya. By speaking with those who do not develop devotion after discussing these topics, one becomes distracted from devotional service rather than awakening one's good fortune. Vaishnavagraganya buddhe jay advaita gai, she Vaishnav janme janme Krishna pai. One who glorifies Advaita as the topmost Vaishnav is a real Vaishnav. He attains Krishna birth after birth. Gaudiya Bhashya. Only those who serve Śrī Advaita Prabhu by considering him the greatest of all Vaishnavas, only they are called Vaishnavas. And those who consider Śrī Advaita Prabhu as a supreme enjoyer, Krishna, and Śrī Gaurasundar as a subordinate devotee, can never attain the lotus feet of Krishna. Those who accept Advaita Prabhu as the topmost Vaishnav will attain the opportunity to serve Krishna in every birth. Advaiter she ekanta priyatar, e marma na jane jato adham kinkar. Such a person is most dear to Advaita. His fallen servants do not know this confidential fact. Gaudiya Bhashya. The real servants of Śrī Advaita Prabhu know that Śrī Advaita is subordinate to Śrī Caitanya. They are dear to Advaita. And those servants who do not accept Advaita Prabhu as the eternal servant of Krishna, though they consider themselves servants of Advaita, no, they aren't servants of Advaita, they are most fallen. Those who, on the pretext of devotional service, exhibit pride by covering the actual truth cannot be candidates for Advaita's mercy. Sabar Ishwar Prabhu Gauranga Sundar, Ekatai Advaiter Priti Bahutar. Lord Gaurasundar is the controller of everyone. This statement is very dear to Advaita. Advaiter Shri Mukher e Shakal Katha, Ihate Sandeha Kichu na Koro Sarvata. All these statements emanated from Advaita's own mouth, so one should never have any doubt in this regard. Okay, we're ending with this verse here. Advaitere bolia gitar satyaphat, Vishvambar lukailo bhaktir kapat. After explaining the actual purport of the Bhagavad-gītā verse to Advaita, Vishvambar hid the door of devotional service. That's interesting. After explaining the actual purport of the Bhagavad-gītā verse to Advaita, Vishvambar hid the door of devotional service. Let's see what that means. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since the so-called descendants of Śrī Advaita and their followers have a perverted conception about Advaita Prabhu's actual identity, they cannot understand that he is conversant with the teachings of Śrī Caitanya. And so they fall from the platform of devotional service by taking shelter of Mayavad philosophy, and they preach that the non-devotional activities of karma and gyan are the purport of Bhagavad-gītā. Śrī Chaitanya Dev accepted Śrī Advaita Prabhu as an intimate devotee and instructed him, but he closed the door of Krishna's devotional service to Advaita's so-called descendants and their fallen followers, and drowned them in the well of Mayavad philosophy, thereby converting them into smartas, so that they could enjoy happiness and distress in the kingdom of fruitive activities. Even today, those persons who desire to be identified as descendants of Advaita have a strong inclination for fruitive activities and Mayavad philosophy. Therefore, it is to be understood that they are situated outside the closed door of the temple of the Lord's service rather than engaged on the path of devotional service. All right, so that is our reading for today. Let's just take a peek at what we're going to be reading tomorrow. I'll just read some of the translations. Lord Vishvambar raised his arms and said, "Everyone, look at me and ask for any benediction you desire." Hearing the Lord's words, everyone became jubilant and asked for a benediction according to their desire. Advaita said, O Lord, my desire is that you bestow mercy on the foolish, wretched, and fallen persons. Someone said, my father does not allow me to come. Please give me the benediction that his heart may change. According to their attachment, various devotees requested benedictions for their disciple, son, wife, or servant. Someone said, may I develop devotion for my spiritual master. It's a nice prayer. Amar Hok Guru Bhakti. In this way, they all requested benedictions according to their reasoning. Lord Vishwambar, who makes the words of his devotees true, smiled as he gave benedictions to everyone. Mukunda was sitting behind a curtain. He had no power to come before the Lord. Oh, we're going to read about Mukunda tomorrow. Mukunda was a great devotee and dear to everyone. He was well conversant with the backgrounds of everyone. The Lord would always listen whenever he would chant. No one could understand why he was being punished. The Lord did not call him, so he could not come. Everyone felt distress on seeing this. Shiva said, O Lord of the universe, please listen. Has Mukunda offended you? Mukunda is dear to you, and he is the life of us all. Whose heart does not melt on hearing Mukunda sing? He is attached to devotional service, to bhakti, and is always careful. Yet, without seeing any fault in him, you dishonor him. If he has actually committed an offense, then punish him. But why should you neglect your servant? He cannot come before you unless you call him. Therefore, O Lord, please call him so that he can see you. The Lord replied, do not speak such words again. Don't ever speak to me of on that fellow's behalf. You have heard before the saying, sometimes he takes a straw in his hands, and sometimes he takes a stick. This applies to this fellow, yet none of you have recognized him. Sometimes he takes a straw in his teeth, and sometimes he beats with a stick. Therefore, this straw stick holder cannot see me. The expert Shiva spoke again to the Lord, who is qualified to understand your prowess. We do not find any fault in Mukunda. Your lotus feet, which award fearlessness, are witness of this fact. The Lord said, wherever this fellow goes, he mingles with the persons there and speaks like one of them. When he studies Yoga Vishishta and Advaita's association, he takes a straw in his teeth and sings and dances in a devotional mood. When he mingles with another sampradaya, he constantly beats me with a stick by not accepting devotional service. Anyone who explains there is something superior to devotional service constantly beats me with a stick. He has committed an offense against devotional service. Therefore, he cannot see me. Mukunda heard everything from outside. He heard that he would not get the Lord's darshan. Mahaprabhu knew that I did not respect devotional service due to the advice of some guru. This is the potency of Lord Chaitanya. The exalted Vaishnava Mukunda thought, there is no need to continue my life. Today, I will give up this offensive body, for I do not know when I will see him again. Mukunda said, listen, Srivas Thakur, ask the Lord when I will be able to see him. Mukunda then shed incessant tears, and all the devotees began to cry on seeing Mukunda's distress. The Lord said, after millions of births, he will certainly get my darshan. As soon as Mukunda heard from the Lord that he would certainly attain him, he became immersed in spiritual happiness. He began to enthusiastically dance while exclaiming, I will attain him! I will attain him! In this way, Lord Chaitanya's servants became overwhelmed in ecstasy. On hearing the statements, he will see me, Mukunda began to dance. He began to dance there in great happiness. On seeing Mukunda, Lord Vishwambar smiled and ordered, bring Mukunda at once. All the Vaishnavas called, come Mukunda. But Mukunda was so happy that he did not know what was happening. The Lord said, O Mukunda, you are freed from your offenses. Come see me and take my mercy. Okay, so that's what we'll be reading tomorrow. Anyways, okay, that's a good place to leave at. Make it, cliffhanger. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Um, all right. Kishore, could you do Jayadvani?
Join it all.
And then I can give you darshan if you want afterwards. If anybody wants to see darshan of Thakurji here. All right, Kishore.
Jai Radhesham, Jai Giriraj. Jai Subrikar, Shishi Guru Gauranga, Gan Hari Vika Giridhari, Radha Vinar Vihari, Radha Nayana, Radha Raman Vihari, Radha Madhava Shishi, Radha Braj Bihari Jiv Ki Jai, Sri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Jiv Ki Jai, Shishi Radha Madan Gopal Jiv Ki Jai, Jai Nityale La Pravishtam Vishnupar Paramahams Bri Brajagjari Varyastotrashta Shishuman Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai, जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रियव्रजचार्य वर्यस्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान् भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पति पावन श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान् भक्ति बलव्यर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान् भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान् भक्तिवेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्तिस्वरूप दामोदर महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् गौरगंग गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्ति वैभावपुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्ति प्रमोदपुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्तिरक्षक श्रीधर देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपादस्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् जगद्गुरु श्रीवरषभानाविद्वैतदास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। स्वापरिकार शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस स्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् गौर किशोर दास भविष्य महाराज की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्रस्तशिष्मात् सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय। यत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वम स्तोत्रस्तशिष्मान् जगन्नाथ दास भविष्य महाराज की जय। सूर्यकुंडवासी सिद्धा शिलमरसन दास भविष्य महाराज की जय। श्री उर्वरास उदरान दास की जय। गुरुविदान आचार्य शिष्यमान बलिदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय। महामहोपाध्याय शिरोमणि विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय। शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय। शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। शिल कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। यस अवतार अर्का विशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। श्री अष्टकविराज सुरजानव नित्यानंद द्वरश गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय। श्री अच्युतानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री रूपा श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रय रमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अति गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री ईश्वर परिपार की जय। शिल माधवेंद्र परिपार की जय। जय श्री अंडरदीप मायापुर सिमंदीप गौतमदीप मध्यदीप कौलदीप ऋतुदीप जानुदीप माधुर दुर्मादीप रुद्रदीप मात्मक श्री नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री अद्वैत भवन की जय। जय श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री श्री सीता द्वैत राय की जय। जय श्री सचिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। जय श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। जय श्री गौर नित्यानंद अद्वैत प्रभु की जय। जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जीव की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपीनाथ कपि कपा गिरिगोवर्धन वृषभनात्मक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कंद श्याम कंद गंगा सत्यामृत सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। जय वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलता टुंग विद्या इंदुलेख रंगदेवी सुदेवी अरि सखी वृंद की जय। जय श्री अनंग प्रेम जलाली शेरूपलमंगा राघव विलस गुण रति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय। जय श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमास युगमाय देवी की जय। जय श्री गोपीश्वर श्री शिव महादेव की जय। जय राधा पतन की तदाम श्री वृंदावन की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमार्ग जीव की जय। श्री तत्वविनाथ की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव स्थली की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। श्री हरिदास ठाकुर समाधि की जय। जय सर्वा विक्रमिन करे भक्त विक्रमिनाश श्री नृसिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नृसिंह देव की जय। जय श्री चरिताम चरि संप्रदाय चर्याचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वार मनोजा विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्याचार्याचार्य की जय। जय कर्मतरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवताम भगवद्गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म हरि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन युग धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तर्क ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद करी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय परम ब्रह्मन परमा सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विश्वम्बर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। परमा करुणामय श्री श्री नित्यानंद राम महाजान की जय। भक्ति स्वरूप अखंड गुरु शिष्यल नित्यानंद बलराम प्रभु की जय। जय महाविष्णु अवतार सरशेव अवतार भक्त अवतार कमलक्ष शांतिपुर नायक स्थित प्राणनाथ शिशिमाद अद्वैताचार्य चंद्र गोस्वामी गौर आनंद ठाकुर नरदेव प्रभु महाशाय की जय। श्री ठाकुरानी की जय। सिद्ध ठाकुरानी की जय। जय श्रीमाद अद्वैताचार्य की जय। जय श्रीमाद अच्युतानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य भगवत की जय। जय शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सरान श्री श्री गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद गौरी वश्य की जय। जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। निताय गौर सीतनाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय राधे।
Hari bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Um, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. All right, so I'll just give you a little. Yeah, I'll show you the part. This is the front here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi goes this far. I think it does. This is Loki. Have you ever seen Loki? Lao? It's called Lao in Bengali. So Subal made this. There's gonna be like the big squash goes there and different kinds of stock. And this is cabbage and cilantro. What do you call it? Danyapata. And then this is our neighbor's garden there. But yeah, and then here you can have darshan inside. Here's our little temple setup there. And Giriraj. Nice talk. All right. So now we're very fortunate that Sripad Bhaktivedanta Janardhan Maharaj is staying with us. He's just now taking prasad. But yep. All right. So is there anything that anybody wants to just like mention before I stop the video for today?
Jai Advaita Rai.
Jai Advaita Rai.
It's interesting that the Advaita Parivar, the Advaita Vamsha, they worship Mahaprabhu with Krishna mantras.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Are there differences in the Advaita Parivar? Like, are there different factions within the Advaita Parivar?
I think there are, but I would have to do more information in order to verify that.
Yeah.
There's one section of the Advaita Vamsha that says, as of course we accept Mahaprabhu as Krishna, except we just give more prominence to Advaita Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, when they do like their arti ceremony, when they do Radha Krishna, they'll worship Radha Krishna first. They'll sing a bhajan for Radha Krishna, then they'll do the Gaur arti.
Interesting.
So they'll
Very
begin with Radha Krishna, then they'll go to Gaur arti. Yeah.
Neat.
I remember in a purport by Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur that we read in the Adhikanda that Prabhupada was saying that yes, that some people they may worship Mahaprabhu with Krishna mantras. And it is bona fide. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said it's bona fide. It is
Yeah.
bona fide, but yeah. But Prabhupada said, but we see that some people who do it, they don't have much taste for Gaur Leela compared to Krishna Leela. I was hearing from a sannyasi recently that, not in person, I watched a class where he was saying that Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur introduced the Gaur Mantra and Gaur Gayatri, but that's not accurate because the Gaur Mantra and Gaur Gayatri is given everywhere in the Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Yeah, no, and it's in I mean that book by what is it, Gopal Guru Goswami? No, Dhyana Chandra Goswami. What is it called? Anyways,
Yeah.
I've seen that book, and it has Gayatri mantras for everybody, for like every associate of Mahaprabhu, and then it goes through all the associates of Radha and Krishna, like all the Ashtasakis and Manjaris. Like it has like a full month, like their mantra, and then their Gayatri mantra for like all these associates. Yeah, so
did you find Rupa Manjari's Gayatri mantra?
It might have been there. It might have been there.
Yeah, because there's also Rupa Manjari Gayatri mantra.
I think it's from that. I think it's from that. I mean, it was a long time ago when I saw it, but I think I do remember that Rup Manjari. I have to see again, but
yeah. So Yeah, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he didn't introduce that. That's eternal Gaur Mantra and Gaur Gayatri.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a devotee, I was learning some shloks from Dhyan Chandra Goswami, and I told one devotee, and he said, "Oh, I actually asked Gurudev about those shlokas, and said, I told him, Gurudev, I'm learning all these shlokas from Dhyan Chandra Goswami, and Gurudev told him, what your Gurudev has given you should do.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
and then he told me, so then I kind of stopped doing that after a while. So he kind of like discouraged me in that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, everything it comes to following in the footsteps. We're trying to follow everything that we've seen from our acharyas and not like try to jump over their heads. What is it? Ulankan, right? That's trying to traverse our Guru Varga. Like, no, we should just follow whatever process they set out for us, what they showed us. We have a lot to, we're already not able to completely follow everything that they've told us to do. So what to speak of doing other things other than
Mm.
Yeah.
Gurudev Maharaj told me, say you first follow what your Guru Maharaj has given you as instructions. First him. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
that?
Yeah. I think it was good that he told me that because I think at that time I was getting like really into Ananga Manjari, like the worship of Ananga Manjari. I even learned Ananga Manjari's Pranamantra. Shri Radhika Prana Kanaya Simvishakita Shiksha Sakasasram Lilambriten Uchalitanga Madhurim Ananga Purvam Pranamami Manjarim. And
Was that by also?
yeah, by Dhyan Chandra Goswami. Ananga Purvam Pranamami Manjarim. I didn't learn the translation. I just learned the verse.
Yeah.
And I told him, I like Ananga Manjari. And he told me, what do you know about Ananga Manjari? Well, I know her Pranamantra. It's like, and he's, and he told me, why worship the younger sister when you can worship the older sister? It's like, and he was saying like, we're in the Gan of Rupa Manjari. And they asked me, what does Rupa mean? Well, it means form. And he told me Rupa means so much more than just form. Rupa means beauty. And, sorry. And I forgot what else he told me. Rupa means beauty. Beauty. And Nanga Manjari, she's also helping Rupa Manjari. Like, basically, that's what he told me, that we're serving under Rupa Manjari, Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Semada Sampadu, Shemada Bhajan, like that.
And the thing is, when it comes to these higher things, our propensity, we want to enjoy. Like that's all we want to do. That's like all we know how to do is enjoy. And so, and these, the service of Radha and Krishna, it's the complete opposite of that. It's not wanting any enjoyment for yourself, right? There's that song Vrishabhanu Sutta, I'll die millions of times just, so that Radharani doesn't feel any distress. Like that's what we're aspiring for. And so if we come to these topics with a mood to want to enjoy them because that's all we know how to do, then we create an offense. And rather than getting closer to getting that service, we get further and further away. And that's why we have to follow the process that our Guru Varga has given us. Otherwise, instead of getting closer to this topmost thing, we'll get farther and farther away from it. And so that's why, yeah. Anyways, I'm just, yeah.
We have to
It's
join that family. I was listening to Prabhupada yesterday with Bhatrini and those lectures Srimad Bhagavatam. And Kunti Devi, Queen Kunti, is asking to please detach me from my family. And Prabhupada said that the Vrishnis and the Pandas, her husband and then her father's family, and the woman usually is attached that way. But it was how Prabhupada honed it, very refined. So he said, no, Braja, the family that we have to join, go to, the Braja, the families in there, take birth there. That's
yes. Jai Ho. Thank you.
On the point of not jumping over the previous acharyas, because I have one question, because sometimes some people, they'll say that you shouldn't read the books of the previous acharyas, just read the books of the present acharyas, like that.
But Prabhupada, there's at least 4 places in Bhagavatam you can find our Prabhupada says to read and then Gurudev Narayana Maharaj too, to read the 6 Goswamis like that. Specifically, well, if Guru, it's like, again, going back again to that, we have to follow what he instructs us to do. And my Acharya Maharaj, he said to study the previous Acharyas. So.
I mean, the thing is, it is true. If you haven't read any of the, if you haven't gone into Srila Prabhupada's books, you haven't studied Bhagavad-gītā, and you're just going into these other books without, there definitely is a quality. You don't just jump to read whatever we find pleasing and like enjoy and all that, because that's
right.
Then so, but it also isn't that. Never in my lifetime, I'll never read the books of Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Thakur. Like, no, like, so it's definitely like, there has to be, you could go extreme either way.
Yeah, no, it's all about fine intelligence. Intelligence is discrimination. So we had to, study this well under the guidance, of course, of Gurudev, our Sri Guru. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, we can't go into try to learn algebra and integrals and like that, and physics, advanced quantum mechanics if you don't have the basics and like that. And
if whatever we're doing, if our sole motive isn't doing it because this will make Gurudev happy, Gurudev will be pleased if I do this. Yeah. If that's not the only reason you're doing it, then it's wrong, and completely wrong, and you should stop doing it right now.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
That's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters.
Yeah. Would this please my Gurudev? Yeah. Would it please my Gurudev?
Yeah. Okay, the devotees are waiting for the side right now, and so I'm not gonna keep them waiting.
Thank you for showing us around again. It's so
it's fun.
Yeah. Wonderful Vaishnava.
And for bringing up that topic also, Kishore. It's a very, very important topic.
Yeah, Kishore.
Hare Krishna, Jai Radhe.
Haribol. Haribol, Haribol. Haribol. Okay, I'm stopping it now.